I'm now for Media Watch with Emma James. Good evening, Emma. And you've been looking at the political fallout from the apartment block disaster over in London.
Yes, obviously at this moment in time we still don't know the full scale of the tragedy in terms of the number of lives lost, but what we do know is there's going to be a political cost and possibly even a criminal cost too. This cartoon is from the London Evening Standard by Christian Adams, a very simple image, the crime scene tape in front of what we now recognise very clearly as the Grenfell Tower. This is possibly a nod to comments made by David Lammy, one of the London Labour MPs, who said that somebody should face corporate manslaughter charges for what happened there. If we take a look at this opinion piece from The Guardian too by Polly Toynbee, she looks at the fact that Theresa May is now under more pressure than ever before, and she was already under considerable pressure, of course, after that snap election. But she says in being too scared to meet the Grenfell survivors, she is now politically finished. She says that tomb in the sky will be forever Theresa May's monument. She said she avoided contact with the bereaved and newly homeless, dead to emotion or empathy. She sealed her fate, is what she says. Politico is looking at the issue of the political consequences too, saying that Theresa May, having chatted with survivors in hospital today, will not be enough for many people who are very angry with her still. And what they talk about is the fact that this tragedy really is a symbol of something broken in Britain. They say it proves that the contrast is now too stark between the haves and the have-nots, because this particular part of London, they talk about the fact that 5 minutes walk from the council block, a 5-bedroom semi-detached family home is for sale, asking price 15 million. And what they say here is that Labour's Jeremy Corbyn is emerging suddenly as looking like a leader for our times. And of course, Jeremy Corbyn has been very much roundly praised, really, for the way that he's handled this, embracing survivors when he went to visit the scene, whereas Theresa May, of course, spoke with firemen but didn't actually meet any of the survivors of that tragedy.
Now, Theresa May did go to West London this Friday, but once again, as we've been saying, things didn't go according to plan.
No, absolutely. This was another PR disaster, really, for the Prime Minister. And shock has very much turned to anger right now in West London. This journalist is tweeting the fact that when she arrived at St Clement's Church, one of the places where collections were being made for all of the goods that people need to basically continue living life. They've lost everything in that fire. She arrived and was swept inside the church and didn't speak to anybody there. Another journalist covering this throughout, Hannah Al-Othman from BuzzFeed, pointed out that there were many, many angry people outside, many of them chanting, "Get her out." She said, "I'm not sure whether they meant out of number 10 or out of the church." She spoke to this lady who said, "I want her to come out and face us. What are you doing here on Friday? I lost my home on Tuesday. People lost their lives on Tuesday." Now, Theresa May, when she left with shouts of "coward" being shouted behind as she left from a side door. The protests have continued this evening, with people walking right the way from Grenfell Tower to number 10 Downing Street. This Twitter user saying, "You can feel the fury, shouts of no justice, no peace" in some of the most affluent areas of London. Very, very unusual scenes, strange scenes too. This protest has come all the way from Manchester, along with a sign saying that greed kills. And this is the protesters when they arrived at Downing Street, saying May must go, justice for Grenfell. Anger is definitely building without question in London. It remains to be seen how Theresa May will handle this and how she will try to quell that anger.
We'll have to see. Emma James, thank you very much with Media Watch.